everyone. Welcome to Education 380 or 500 for this week. This is going to be for the week of February 15th. I'm going to go ahead and jump right in, and I'm going to try to do this in one take, so we'll see how this goes. Actually, I don't think it's a too complex week. We're going to start getting into some more niche type texts or things that are more specific as opposed to the big things like websites and Google Classrooms. We did do a little bit of that with Nearpod. I have started to kind of look at the Nearpods this week. They look fantastic, as always. Just to kind of double back a couple weeks, just like the Google Classrooms. Google Classrooms were on point. I had a feeling a lot of you were actually, you're probably more knowledgeable than me on Google Classroom because you're actually using it in the classroom. I know some people are already in school districts that are using it or are already teachers if you're an MAT student and using Google Classroom. So one thing I should add with Google Classroom, I'm thinking back to it because I had just graded them not that long ago. One thing with the sharing, I didn't even think about. A lot of times if you used your school accounts and use that Google Classroom space, it won't always let me into it because I'm not in a school account. But a lot of you were smart and sent me screenshots and all, and that worked perfectly. So with all that being said, I am going to go ahead and share my screen. I'm in here in my office recording this before, I guess, our double snowstorm that's coming this week. So let's go ahead and pull up. Whoops, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and make this large. And for this week, as you can see, we're going to work on something called Edpuzzle. I like Edpuzzle. It is not too complicated, but one thing about it, it's like a lot of things. Sometimes you got to do a little bit of Piaget experience and fiddle around, but I'll show it to you. I'll walk it through. And of course, there are help videos on here if you need them also. Also, by the way, I wanted to make one little thing. The videos, I do try to keep those up to date with the self-help. One thing that I will say that sometimes I don't catch, some of this tech has moved really fast during the pandemic. So there may be things that are updated all the time. If you catch something that might not be meshing like you wanted to, again, always email me just in case. Google Classroom, for example, and Weebly, they both have added features since a lot of the videos that I've recorded, not the ones for this semester, but even the prior ones. And then, of course, even with things that are on YouTube and such. So don't be afraid to ask or contact if you have any questions. And most of you have been doing that. But to kind of revert back to what we're doing, we're going to work with Edpuzzle. It is a pretty neat little tool. I'll give you a little intro in a second, but basically it deals with videos and adding questions and such. The readings deal with differentiated instruction. I'm going to go ahead and say this, even though it's down on the discussion, so I don't forget. When you're doing your discussions, I believe I sent out an announcement. Don't forget to kind of reference the article or make points back to it. You're not just reviewing the tech. That's what the blogs are for. I haven't really blasted anyone for it or anything like that because I can see where it would be confusing, but just make sure that you're doing the review on the blog, and it only needs to be a sentence or two. You're welcome to do more, but some of you have, and they've been fantastic. But, you know, just do a quick review on the tech itself, and the discussion is where you need to talk about the issues and things like that. Kind of show me that you've at least looked or glanced at the article would be good. So with that, that's your readings will be on tech and differentiated instruction. We're going to have a lesson or a lecture that'll be posted from this with me babbling right now. There's also videos on using Edpuzzle. The assignments are going to be the blog, the discussion, and the Edpuzzle. And of course, don't forget your certifications as always, as a reminder. Some of you have actually sent me your certifications already, and I haven't posted those grades. I do have them, and I will try to get on that this weekend to make sure they're up. It's really, did you do it or did you not do it? And also, someone sent me a fantastic question about the Google certification, and I did get it clarified. I wanted to check, and I think I sent that out, but just in case, I'm going to put it on the video. The Apple is free. The Google, like we've said, costs $10. You only need to attempt the Google. I'm not asking you to do multiple attempts with the Google. One, they've been a little slow in grading them. I think if you wait until this, I was going to say December, like it's the fall. If you wait towards April, you may not even get your scores back. That's fine. Just send me an email that you've done it. Also, if for some reason you don't get the certification on the first crack, which could happen, and it's no big deal, just send me the verification that you tried. I'm not asking you to do repeated attempts, i.e. I don't want you to pay $10 each time you try because they will charge you each time you do it. So one time, that's all I'm telling you to do. I just want you to give it a shot. It's just a resume booster and get you used to using the Google aspects or the Apple. I'm a little bit of an Apple person. That's what I've always used. But with the schools kind of switching more and more to Google Classroom and things, I thought that would be a good option. By the way, I think I mentioned it last week. If you really like Nearpod, there is Nearpod certification. I did that a long time ago, and it's all, I can get you the information, or I'll post it or send it out. But that's another resume booster, and it was pretty easy. I think that was something that took me all of like an hour to do. But it might be a little different. I did it about 2 or 3 years ago. A few other things. Here's the Google's information and assignment. I'll come back to the Edpuzzle assignment after I show you Edpuzzle, and of course, here are all the links. So with that being said, I'm going to do 2 things this week. I'm going to talk about Tech Like a Pirate, and of course, that'll be at the end, just a little tidbit. And I'll also show you Edpuzzle, and I'm going to actually do that now. And the first thing I'm going to do is move my face. The second thing is, oh, no, I'm going to lie. Before I pull up Edpuzzle, I sent out an email. There is nothing required with these, but I just kind of stumbled upon them this week. It's some professional development things we were doing on campus. Well, I say on campus, but you know what I mean, on Zoom. This was the mural I sent you, and I don't know if anyone clicked on the link. It is pretty simple, but it was pretty neat, I thought. If you're teaching remotely, which we were doing a remote session, it's basically a whiteboard where you can post sticky notes. Now, Nearpod has a very similar feature if you do the collaborate, and I don't know if it allows you to do that with the free aspect of Nearpod. Mine was gold, so I need to go back and look at that. But if you don't have access to collaborate in Nearpod, or you don't like Nearpod, Mural might be something you might want to check out. As you can see, start now. It's free. I'm sure like anything else, you can bump it up if you want, but you can definitely create a free account. And you can see there's different ones too. There's different organizational charts. One we did was like a T-chart. I'm doing the T-chart for you, and you can post, but you might want to check it out. There's no assignment due with this or anything. I just wanted to share it. And also, this was something they were picking names for a prize. Some of you may have already used this or have something similar, but I had never seen it, so I thought I'd share it. It was the Wheel of Names, and I thought for any teacher in any grade, this might actually be useful. If you need to pick on someone or have someone read or such, you can actually, as you can see, put in names, Jason, let's do William, Sherry. I'm doing these off the top of my head. Actually, here I'll do my family. Mandy, that's my wife. Jack, my son. George is my mom. And of course, you can add other people too, as you can see. Charles is my stepfather. So you can see, you can add them, and then you spin it. Click to spin, and wherever it stops is maybe who you call on, or you pick for an assignment or do something that week, and you see we're going to have that Sherry wins. So there you go. Anyway, that was something I wanted to share. I saw it, but again, nothing you have to do anything with. I just happened to catch it and thought I would share it before I forgot. I thought it was maybe something useful. Now, let me jump back. We are going to do something this week called Edpuzzle. Edpuzzle, I think, is actually really neat. We've had a lot of people in this class, I think, actually gravitate to it. If you were in the field, especially at the beginning of the pandemic, I saw a lot of Edpuzzle being used because it was a quick way to get some lessons up when things were a little more chaotic. I've seen it a few times. I'm using my son as a barometer. He's in 6th grade, and I've seen him do a couple here and there now. But if you haven't seen it, I'm going to show it to you now. All right, that is actually my account, and I'm going to close one of those out. All right, just type in, as you can see, edpuzzle.com. This is the login. I actually have 2 accounts. If you have a free one, there is a cap on the number of videos you can do. I have a lot, and after I've done some, I've removed some and such, but we're not going to worry about that. I just want to show it to you. And I will make this note, just like with Nearpod, just like with Google, a lot of school districts actually have Edpuzzle accounts. So it might be something where you might want to check if you like this tool because you might have unlimited access. We are just dealing with the free and base level stuff. But anyway, I'm going to log in. I'm a teacher. Okay, a couple of things. There's a few ways you can sign up. You can just use an regular email, or you can use Google. Today I'm going to use Google. just because it's just easier. And actually, I want to make this point. It does link up with Google Classroom, and you can just embed it right in there. There's ways to do that. I'll show you that if you sign in with Google. But also, you can create a free account. I will admit I have a Shepherd one, and I also have a Google one. So this kind of gives me more access to everything. But today, I'm going to use Google. Of course, it says something blocking the Google sign in. Of course, I was just in it a second ago. Let's try again. Look at that. Couldn't be easy, could it? It just couldn't. Let's see if we can do it. There it went. I might have already had it open. As you can see, it pops me into this, not my content, and you're like, well, there's nothing there. And that is true. And as you can see, there's a whole bunch of stuff over here that I've already built. You can go to the home page. And what Edpuzzle is it has a database of videos. Now, you can create your own lectures. Like I could use this lecture right now, load it up on Edpuzzle, and use the capabilities that I'm going to show you. But by and large, I think most people like to use it for this type of stuff. So for example, I'm actually working on a lesson plan / paper on the Cold War. And that's actually a true story. So maybe I want to embed an Edpuzzle lesson to kind of give students a background on it. Well, as you can see, there's a whole bunch of videos that they have here. Like, I'm again a social studies teacher. I think sometimes we default to this a little too much, but Crash Course is a good video. There's National Geographic videos. I'm going to use the classic one, YouTube. Get my face out of there again. And I'm going to type in Cold War. I'll try that again. Type in Cold War. And I search, and as you can see, there's a bunch of videos. Now, these are all videos that I could look at, use. I'm going to use, there was a, let's see, there was one. I like this old CNN one. I used to use it a lot. It was the one they did in the late 90s, but as you can see. Now, as you look, other teachers have used this, and I'll show you what they did first, and then I'll show you what we can do. You can use any of theirs if you find it. You just save it to your account. You see where it says copy, you would hit copy and it would go into your account. You can assign it to students where you'll get a link and I'll show you that. But let's just say, I'm going to, by the way, you can make your own new one of this also, but we're going to do, let's just do this. Let's edit. And hopefully, as you can see, you can edit the video like to clips that you would want. So when I'm playing this, and you see it gives a nice dramatic beginning, but I can cut like what I want. I want to cut that out. I don't even want the beginning. And as you can see, it'll play from there. Okay, so that might be something that I do. Then, as you can see, and let me go back because I think I jumped a little quick on that. As you can see, here's the video. You can use the ones that are here. That's fine. And you can edit these also, and you can assign them. Or you can just simply do this. You can get this, and click edit, and you can make your own. And I just was showing you, you can do the cut and do the things with the video where you might not want this. This is a half-an-hour video. You probably don't want to show your students a half-an-hour video. Maybe you do. But you can do that, and you see it plays, well, sorry, 28 minutes. I'm not going to replay that again. Now, what you can do within this video is you can pick parts. I am going to play it again. As I'm watching it, maybe I know something I want. As you can see, I'm going to jump.
Would be jailed.
If a person supports organizations which reflect communist teachings, or organizations labeled communist by the Department of Justice.
Okay, now you can go in here and you can add a question. For example, maybe I want to hit click multiple choice question. I would say, what was the Red Scare? And I would put something like fear in U.S. about the spread. Sorry, I know the caps aren't the best, but I'm trying to just show you here of communism, the Red Scare, an Avenger. Okay. And I'm going to select the right answer. I'm going to save it. Now watch when we go back. That is there. That question is now there for your students. So when they're completing this assignment, it'll be there. So they have to do it. And by the way, you can do things. Well, I'm going to play this real quick where it goes. Let's jump a little bit. And if you watch, hopefully in a minute, it's going to go. And I didn't see where I put that question at. Creep, 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 creep.
The Russian
Sorry, this is
Revolution
not
of
the.
19...
There it goes. Now you see the students now have the question and it pops up. I probably should have timed that a little better, but that's at the 152 mark. And, you know, I might click that and I'll hit
of
continue.
1917.
Now, say I want to add another question. We'll just jump it ahead here. Wherever I want to put it, I can do the same thing. Or maybe I just want to make a note when the students are watching it. Like the winners of WW2, you know, and then that'll be there. And as you can see, it'll show up.
Axis force,
And then I can continue.
Axis forces
You can add the notes. You can do open-ended. There are also things where
had endured the
you can actually go back and edit the video. I'm not worried about you doing this, but if you want to like set this where the students can't jump ahead and just go to the questions, you can also do that. So for example, let's see if I can do, there's the name. If you go back, oh, by the way, there's all your questions. Now let's finish this. When I hit finish, as you can see, let me look here. If I want to edit a public, you do public view. I wanted to make sure that you can assign, and when you would do that, you would get your dates and everything. Add new class. You'll probably have to say, I'll just say social studies. Nice. Classic, it's fine. Create class. And then I would assign it. That's it. It's there. Now you can do things where, I'm sorry, I've mentioned this and I hopefully didn't babble too much, but as you see, you can prevent skipping. So the students, when they're watching it, they don't get ahead of you. You can turn on closed captioning and all if you want, but that's it. It's in there. And just to kind of go back, as you can see, there are my questions. And after you assign it, all you have to do is share assignment. And there you go. And you can just, when you're sharing it with me, you don't have to worry about any age type thing or anything because you're not doing it with your schools. But that's it. And if you go back, there's my classes, there's the assignments. If you go back even farther, let's go back to content. There's all the content, and I can do my content. And there's the videos. I had saved that one video, and it wasn't there. Again, for example, maybe I want to do a National Geographic video on ancient Rome. As you can see, there's a whole bunch. I can actually just click on one of those and copy it if I want. Or if I just want to directly edit it, again, I would just go in here. I could do a voiceover and make specific things that I would want there. As you can see, some of them are blocked and some of them aren't. I'm not asking you to do a voiceover, so I'm not too worried about that. And then, of course, you can add in the questions, you know, what country is Rome located in? You know, and again, you can put France, Italy, Italy, and you got it. And maybe again,
We ruled by two annually,
you know,
like
I
a
might want to
representative.
say, is the United States a republic? Yes or no? And
It was close.
it's there. Students can answer it that way. And again, they're there. I'm finished. I'm going to assign this to a class. I'm going to go ahead and pick my 9th grade class. I'm going to assign it. And you can see my skipping and all's there. And it's there. Or if I want to, I can just do this. Let's go back to my content again. This one again. If I just want to share this, you can actually just do this. You can just share the link with me if you've created one. If you don't want to put in like a share a class with me or anything, and copy the link and I'll check it out. Really, I'll go back and show you what I want, but that's Edpuzzle. And once you go in there and create the videos, and now that one part I know I babbled a little bit, but if you have any questions, make sure that you come back and see me. But just kind of mess around with it. But you just select the video, you add the questions, and share the video with me. That's it. You can pick whatever topic you want for whatever class you want. There are ways, like I said, if you want to go in there with my class, if you have class options and such, if anyone's interested in like embedding it on Google Classroom, I'm going to put up the directions how to do it, but it should actually allow you to do that pretty easily. Let me go back here. Google Classroom. Make sure I'm not overlooking it. That's my content, sorry. I'll double check that. I don't want to sit here and waste your time because I know you can embed it right into Google Classroom, and I'll double check that. So with that being said, what do you have to do with Edpuzzle? Let me go back here. As you can see, here's the assignment. You need to create an Edpuzzle account. I don't care if it's your separate account or if it's a Google account. You need to select a video. It can be from anything from Edpuzzle. You can actually make your own and upload it, and I probably should show you that real quick. But if you go here and you want to add, you just click Add Content, create a video, and record it, or you can upload a video. That's all you need to do. So, for example, create a video. Whoops, sorry. Upload a video, sorry. Oops. Choose your file, or you can drag it there and you can just add it. Maybe it's something you recorded. Maybe I would want to put this babbling video up. That would be fine. We could do it. I'm not going to do that, so don't worry about that. But anyway, what do you need to do? Just to jump back, select a video. You could record yours. I'm not asking you to do it. You just really just need to pick a YouTube, Com Video, Crash, whatever's on there, National Geographic. Once you selected the video, it needs to be cropped to be no more than 5 minutes long. You can select a video that's less than 5 minutes. That's fine. But try to keep it in that 5. If you go 6 minutes, I'm not that worried about it. But try to keep it in that 5 range. Don't make it shorter than 2 minutes. And in some combination, put the 5 of the following. You can put a voiceover, audio notes, quizzes, questions, whatever. And when I say quizzes, I mean questions, and I should probably clarify that on here, and I'll fix that before I release it. A lot of people use these as quizzes. I don't care what the combination is. If you want to put 5 questions like I did in there, that's fine. If you want to do 4 questions and 1 note, that's fine. If you want to do 2 notes and 3 questions, that's all fine. I'm good. Once you are finished, just copy the link and submit it on Sakai, and that's it. That's all you have to do for Edpuzzle. Just in case my directions were not clear, I did post from the Edpuzzle site how to get started in Edpuzzle and how to create a video. So it is very possible that that might be a little easier for you. And also here's the link to Edpuzzle. I will also put up directions in case you need them. I'll type them out real quick. But that should be it for the assignments for that. The last thing I just kind of wanted to briefly share with you is I said I'd do the Tech Like a Pirate. I'm going to hold it up again. Tech Like a Pirate. You didn't have to buy. Just a real quick tip. And I actually like this one this week. See if I can actually pull that over. Let me make my screen small though, because I don't think it's going to let me if I don't. There it is. This week I kind of was reading a chapter I hadn't read in a while, and it's called You Don't Need the App. And what that means is sometimes when you see a cool technology, sometimes you can actually modify it for your classroom. And what the book was talking about, and I have to admit, I never really used these. I know what they are. But it was talking about the Vine app and how he kind of liked some of the aspects of it, but he didn't feel comfortable using it in his classroom, especially because I think Apple had a rating of it of 17 plus because of some of the content and all. But he heard his students talking about it. So he had actually molded an assignment that was similar, but he kind of created it on his own or like simulated it and found other things that were comparable. And I was kind of thinking, that's not too bad. And actually, here's his things. You know, when you see a technology you like, find out about the text features. What is it that captivates the students? What are signature elements of it? Like what makes it work? What's the pull to it? Is it the logos? Is it appearance? Is it how it works? And then you can start tinkering. And I was thinking about this a little bit. Was teaching for a while, and you know, at first when I started teaching, Instant Messenger was a big thing, and then MySpace came, and of course Facebook and Twitter all kind of popped up. And One thing I noticed is a lot of times what people were trying to do, because everyone knew what Facebook was, and I'll show you this. People were like wanting to have students. There were educational aspects or fun aspects of using Facebook that you could do, but you couldn't really have your students create a Facebook account. So let me see. Why is that not open? There it goes. Sorry. If you look here, this is a template for Facebook, and this is something similar, I think, what he's trying to say in Tech Like a Pirate. You can find templates that are called like farce books all over the place. They're Word documents, and you can mold them. There's rubrics everywhere on the internet now that you can use, and you can mold things to it and kind of make it work for your classroom. For example, I didn't want my students on the internet, like friending people on Facebook, creating Facebook accounts, whatever. But what I did was I created an exercise where they had to do a Facebook on a historical figure, usually around the content that we're talking about. This was one on Henry Clay, the great compromiser, and who he'd been friends with, and some of them might have been people he didn't get along with, but that's Facebook anyway, probably, right? Andrew Jackson, John Quincy Adams, those were all his friends. They had to do a little biography. They had to do a quote that might either they thought he might like, or he might have said, like, for example, I would rather be right than president. Me, that's Henry Clay. And you see, we would have things where he would do his favorite songs. Like, I don't know if these actually are, but I created this one. But his favorite song, he was from Kentucky, my old Kentucky home, but I put a club remix club version. Favorite movies are The Devil and Daniel Webster and Bring It On, because he was very combative sometimes in the Senate. So his favorite books are on there. So you do things like that. He was called the Great Compromiser, so I would always let my students, they had to put real people on here, but I would let them do one fun one. One that he did was called since he was called the Great Compromiser, I did Pepto-Bismol, and it was called the Great Constipator. My students would think it's funny, ha 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 ha. So, something like that, but this is what he's talking about with Tech Like a Pirate. It's, you got to be creative sometimes, and you got to make the tech work for you. And sometimes some tech isn't realistic in the classroom, but you can find ways to make it work if there are aspects to it you like. Another one that I did personally was we had a fake Twitter template, and maybe it'll open for me. I got the spinny wheel of death for Apple, but I think it's just going to open slowly, maybe, possibly. Maybe it seemed to load. There it is. And there's one on Shakespeare, and you can see I would have my students do this. I did one on FDR one time too that I really liked, and I think I have the samples on my home computer, but that's not doing me any good now. As you can see, I would have them tweet, and they'd have to have friends and things like that. But that's just basically what he's saying with Tech Like a Pirate. If you see tech you like, you don't know it's appropriate, find out what it is you like about it, what you think the students will, and try to find an alternative or create an alternative. It doesn't, this is tech. You're still doing things. And my students, actually, we would load these up as documents in Google Classroom towards the end of my teaching career. And we just would go from there, and they would share them with me. You also might have noticed when I was looking at my downloads, I have a Jeopardy template. I'll put that up if you want to. Of course, there's electronic Jeopardy now. Sometimes I kind of liked doing just a template version and just having it controlled, and I would click a PowerPoint and it would clear. So I'll put these all up, but that is Tech Like a Pirate. That is Edpuzzle. And if you have any questions, you are welcome to come back to me, but just the rehash, don't forget you have to blog, you have to do the discussion, you have to do the Edpuzzle. And if you have any problems with the Edpuzzle itself, unloading anything, please email me, because I know I kind of fly through those sometimes a little quick, or check out the video. That should be it. I'm recording this right before a snowstorm, so please, everyone, make sure you stay safe. And if you have any questions, contact me anytime. We're cruising through the semester. This is the 5th week. It's unbelievable. We're going to be at midterm before we know it. And I got to add this tech. If you've made it to the end of this, I'm just going to go ahead and add this. You all have been rocking this. I actually been really impressed. I can tell a lot of you have been out in the field during all this pandemic, and you know this technology, because I was telling my wife the other night, I don't know if I've ever had a class that cruised through the Google Classrooms as easy as you did. Anytime I couldn't even open a Google Classroom, which was only 1 or 2 times, most of the time the problem was on my end, not your end. It was something dumb that I was doing. And if there was something, it was, you all fixed it just like that if it was on the other end. So long story short, awesome job. Stay safe. I'm going to stop this recording, and I hope everyone has a good week.